Now, video game adaptations have certainly come a long way over the years, what with HBO's The Last of Us TV series showing what can happen when all the creative elements coincide perfectly. But 30 years ago, however, Hollywood was only just beginning to turn its attention towards video games as a ripe medium for exploitation, resulting in the release of 1993's Super Mario Bros. The movie. Though a major critical and commercial disappointment, which turns 30 years old very soon, has nevertheless endured as something of a kind of kitschy cult fave. So let's take a look at them. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 20 things you somehow missed in Super Mario Bros. The movie. Number 20. The main cast were actually drunk during many scenes. In 2007, John Leguizamo published his fascinating autobiography, Pimps, Hoes, Player Haters, and the Rest of My Hollywood Friends, My Life, which went into extensive detail about the movie's infamously hellish production. Perhaps the single most eye-opening revelation from him is that he and Hoskins not only hated making the film, but turned to getting drunk during production to make their time on the shoot more bearable. The duo would neck shots of whiskey between takes, presumably without the knowledge of filmmakers Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel, who the pair haven't had many kind words for over the years. And so the next time that you watch this film, if you do, there's a solid chance that you'll be watching two legendary actors who were three sheets to the wind in just about every single scene. Number 19. The Hammer Brothers Tattoo Shop. For all of the flack that this movie rightly gets, the film's production design is actually genuinely fantastic, especially in Dino Hatton, with the city containing a frankly ridiculous number of Easter eggs and nods to the video game series, and one of the best is quite literally neon signposted, and yet you still might have missed it amidst the bustle of Dino Hatton. Keep an eye on the town square area near the Boom Boom Bar nightclub which Luigi and Mario visit, and you might notice a sign for a tattoo shop called Hammer Bros. This is clearly a reference to the Hammer Bro enemies from the video games, who made their debut in 1985's Super Mario Bros. And have been a regular fixture ever since. Number 18. Mr. Video. An extremely deep cut now for only the most knowledgeable Mario diehards. In one of the film's early establishing scenes, moments before Luigi first meets Princess Daisy, we see the duo drive past a video rental store called Mr. Video 3. Now, this might seem like a totally ordinary generic video store name, unless you know your Mario history. As it turns out, Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto originally named the character Mr. Video when he was intended to be a small supporting character who only made cameo appearances in Miyamoto's games. Miyamoto was ultimately persuaded to change the name to Mario, and the rest is history. Hilariously though, Miyamoto noted that if he'd stuck to the Mr. Video name, the character would have disappeared off the face of the earth. It was definitely a good change, that's for sure, and one that's immortalized on film in this movie. Number 17. Dan Castellaneta voices the narrator. The movie opens with a brief voiceover narration which explains that the meteorite which apparently extinguished the dinosaurs also created a parallel dimension. Some of the dinosaurs managed to cross over into this dimension, and over the course of 65 million years inexplicably evolved into a humanoid race and eventually founded the city of Dino Hatton, because why the hell not, eh? But if you pay close attention to the voice narrating the prologue, doesn't that sound a little bit familiar? Well, it should, because it's none other than Dan Castellaneta, who of course voices Homer Simpson in The Simpsons. Granted, he is narrating with his regular speaking voice here, so you can't be blamed too much for failing to spot his vocal cameo. Number 16. The devolution guns are Nintendo Super Scopes. Now, late in the movie, King Koopa rocks a devolution gun, which when fired reverts the target back to their base ancestral species, whether humans into chimps or a Dino Hatton resident into a reptilian dinosaur. But hilariously though, the weapon itself wasn't a bespoke created from scratch for the production, but actually a Nintendo peripheral sneakily inserted into the film. The devolution gun is in fact the Nintendo Super Scope, a light gun for the SNES released in 1992, the year before the movie came out. But given that the art department sprayed the gun a darker shade of grey in order to achieve a more realistic weaponized look, you'd be forgiven for missing it. On the one hand, it could be called a cynical product tie-in, but on the other, can it really be a product placement if 99.9% of people watching it didn't even notice? Number 15. The leads both wore casts during filming. Now, Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo both sustained injuries during production, which the crew were forced to disguise in order to continue shooting their scenes. First off, Hoskins broke one of his fingers when a vehicle's door was slammed on his hand, apparently by Leguizamo himself. Hoskins' hand was then fitted for a cast for the rest of the shoot, requiring the filmmakers to get rather creative about disguising it. In some shots, they simply had Hoskins hold an object over his hand, like a sweater, in order to conceal the cast, while in other scenes where this wasn't possible, they resorted to painting the cast pink to blend blend in with his skin tone. As for Leguizamo, he didn't emerge unscathed either, getting hit by a car on set and breaking his leg, apparently due to his aforementioned drinking. The cast is visible in some shots, with the actor supporting a strangely padded out leg, though it's much tougher to notice than the clear effort made to cover up Hoskins' injured hand. Number 14. King Koopa was inspired by Donald Trump. If you grew up watching Super Mario Bros. And hadn't seen it for a while, you'd almost certainly be surprised to see just how much of a blatant caricature King Koopa is of Donald Trump. A tyrannical business mogul with epic delusions of grandeur and a major case of germophobia, it's not a stretch to observe the obvious parallels between the two, not to mention Koopa's bleach blonde hairdo and similar choices of attire. And to take it even further, throw in a dash of Trumpian nepotism, given that Koopa hires his own dim-witted cousins Iggy and Spike as his henchmen. Of everything else in this movie, this parallel might actually be the thing that's aged the very best. Number 13. BIRDO has a sneaky cameo. When Mario and Luigi first make it to Dino Hatton, we briefly see a reptilian-looking woman with a dinosaur egg who is accosted by a stranger and screams at him, "Get away from my baby." Fans have speculated for years that this character is in fact intended to be a reoccurring character from the Mario games, BIRDO. BIRDO is a dinosaur who can spit eggs from her mouth and has beauty spots over her face which don't look entirely dissimilar from the Dino Hatton civilian's own facial markings. It's never been formally confirmed that this is 100% what the filmmakers were going for, but given the impressive attention to detail throughout, it's very easy to believe. Number 12. Tons of the dialogue was dubbed. You almost certainly didn't notice this as a younger viewer, but as an older, more media-savvy audience member, look out for how much obviously redubbed dialogue there is throughout this movie. In a 2010 interview, the film's co-writer Parker Bennett revealed that he and fellow writer Terry Runte wrote a large amount of new dialogue to be re-recorded by the cast during post-production, because the producers weren't sure that audiences were fully understanding the parallel dimension plot. As a result, the duo worked with the film's editors to splice in dialogue whenever a character's back was turned and their mouth wasn't visible, in an attempt to clarify the story. Additionally, Bennett said that the post-production supervisor had never seen more ADR, which is automatic dialogue replacement dubbing, carried out on a single film. And so pretty much any dialogue you can hear when an actor isn't shown to be speaking is almost certainly piped in after the fact. Number 11. Big Bertha. Big Bertha is the bouncer of Dino Hatton's Boom Boom Bar and wears a distinctive spiked red leather outfit, while serving as both a foil and a rather romantic interest for Mario. But given that Big Bertha's name is only ever spoken aloud once in the film, by Spike no less, you may not have even realized that this character was based off of the same named fish enemy introduced in Super Mario Bros. 3. It was in the Nintendo Comic System comic books, however, that Big Bertha was shown to have romantic designs on Mario, even if Mario ultimately rebuffs her just as he does in the film. Number 10. The sneaky water bottle gag. Now this one's really tough to spot and frankly a little weird, so major props if you managed to catch it first time. Earlier on in the film, when Luigi is meeting Daisy for the first time and Mario looks on with sure second-hand embarrassment, keep an eye on the bottle of Evian water that Mario is holding. For most of the scene, Mario holds the bottle upside down, making the text on it appear backwards. And what does Evian spell backwards? While some might pawn it off as a mere coincidence, the amount of fiddling around that Bob Hoskins does with the bottle suggests that we're definitely meant to be paying attention to it. Number 9. That Fry Guy Easter egg. But now for one of the sneakier Easter eggs in the Boom Boom Bar now. When Mario and Luigi first enter the club and hand over their tool belts to the coat check girl, for around a second we're given a glimpse of the coat check area's wall. More to the point, there's a pink sheet of paper stuck to the wall which says these premises are protected by Fry Guy flamethrowers. Fry Guy is ultimately the boss of World 4 in Super Mario Bros. 2, a sentient ball of flame who is certainly well equipped to deal with any troublesome nightclub revelers. Sadly, we didn't get to see him in action though, and given the budget that you need to do full justice to Fry Guy, it's an understandable omission. Number 8. Wiggler Malt Liquor. Now in the very same scene, keep your eyes locked on the left-hand side of the screen whenever people are shown dancing inside the Boom Boom Bar. Up above them on the wall is a neon sign advertising Wiggler Malt Liquor, and of course Wigglers are the yellow, slow-moving caterpillars that will turn red and run around you if you jump on them, and they first appeared in Super Mario World. This is an especially interesting Easter egg given the association between a cute character from a video game aimed at children and, well, alcohol. It's tough to picture Nintendo letting a similar gag slip through the cracks in the upcoming Chris Pratt starring animated film. Number 7. Mario and Luigi don't wear their iconic outfits until 67 minutes into the movie. Even though every single scrap of marketing for the movie featured the iconic image of Mario and Luigi emerging from an elevator wearing their source-accurate outfits, it's surprising just how little showing they actually get in the film itself. It isn't until the 67-minute mark that we finally see the heroes don their signature costumes, and given that the film is only 99 minutes long without credits, that means that Mario and Luigi spend less than 1/3 of the film in their expected outfits. It'd be disingenuous to suggest that this ended up harming the film's reputation from fans and resulting box office performance, but it probably didn't help, right? Number 6. The Valley of Bowser. Another especially sneaky and bizarre Easter egg in the Boom Boom Bar is one that you'd scarcely notice, but behind all of the dancers at the nightclub, there's a video screen displaying a rather familiar looped pattern. If you look closely at the faded screen, you might just be able to recognize the entrance to Bowser's underground lair, the Valley of Bowser. The entrance is distinguished by a gigantic stone sculpture of Bowser's head, which is a reoccurring visual motif on the screen behind the dancers. This is one of the few instances of the movie directly invoking imagery from the video games rather than offering up its own live-action riff on it. Number 5. Koopa is a cannibal. Now here's something queasy to consider. This film actually casually suggests that King Koopa is a damn cannibal. In the movie's third act, there's a humorous, and I use that word loosely, scene where Koopa is seen ordering a pizza from a joint called Python Pizza. Koopa orders a pizza called the Koopa Special, which apparently includes pterodactyl tail, dino, and lizard as toppings. Koopa's penchant for eating dinosaurs seems to suggest that he, himself descended from dinosaurs, keenly devours his own species and is therefore a cannibal. And because that's not disturbing enough, Koopa also tells the delivery boy to hold the mammal. Given that Koopa uses the word mammal to refer to humans throughout the movie, we can safely assume that this pizza place is also killing, cooking, and then serving up humans, which is pretty wild indeed. Number 4. The one-up sound. One of the grossest moments in the movie is the reveal that Daisy's father, the King of Dino Hatton, has been devolved into a revolting pile of fungus. Daisy is seen interacting with a comms panel in the room in order to view the surveillance camera feeds around Koopa's compound, but listen closely and you might also notice a neat little oral nod to the video games. As Daisy navigates the system's menus, the game's iconic one-up trilling sound can be heard ringing out. Number 3. Bullet bills are used to power the THWOMP stompers. Here's something that seems obvious to grown-up eyes, yet you may well have missed it as a young'un. One of the coolest aspects of the movie is the hero's use of THWOMP stompers, boots which allow Mario and Luigi to fly through the air at will. The boots are powered by small grenade-like cartridges, which, upon closer inspection, are clearly modelled off of bullet bills, the anthropomorphic bullet-like projectiles, which are unquestionably one of the Mario franchise's most iconic and recognisable foes. Number 2. Lance Henriksen coughed up Rice Krispies as the king. At the very end of the film, once Koopa has been defeated and transformed into primordial soup, the king is reverted back to human form from his devolved fungal status, and so we get to see Lance Henriksen on screen for a few scant seconds as he hacks up a lung whilst the final vestiges of his fungal self disappear. The king ends up sputtering a bunch of nondescript matter on the floor, an idea that was apparently suggested by the actor himself. The effect was actually amusingly achieved by having him simply hold a bunch of Rice Krispies in his hand, which he then pretended to cough out from his mouth. Sometimes the simplest effects are the best ones. And number 1, a bootleg extended cut was released in 2021. Despite the film's reputation as one of the worst video game movies ever, its cult fandom has nevertheless maintained interest in the many, many deleted scenes that were cut during its fraught post-production process. In 2019, a work print of the original cut of the film, running roughly 20 minutes longer than theatrical release, was discovered by the Super Mario Bros. Movie Archive, and in 2021, they worked with film restorationist Garrett Gilchrist to release it for free online. The extended cut added numerous notable scenes, such as Spike and Iggy performing an anti-Koopa rap, and even restored an entire excised subplot where Mario feuds with a mafia plumbing company, which are only briefly mentioned in the theatrical release. Though the extended cut is in no way transformative, it does nevertheless marginally improve the choppier official release, and you can go check it out for yourself for free. And there we go, my friends. Those were 20 things you somehow missed in Super Mario Bros. The movie. I hope you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Instagram at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. Hope to see you over there, and you can come check out all of the Warhammer miniatures that I've been painting. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.